Hey guys, Hella Bella, and I have been on Ozempic and counting calories for 500 days. So a year and a half has gone by since I started counting my calories consistently. I have not missed a single day. I haven't missed a day on vacation. I haven't missed a day when I was sick. I haven't missed a day when I just did not feel like fooling with it. And I want to say that in terms of consistency, this is the most consistent I've ever been in my entire life when it comes to monitoring my food intake. And I do believe that Ozempic or Semaglutide has played a major role in that. So I started taking Ozempic in September of 2022, and I made a little video about it saying, oh, this is my first week. And that video wound up getting 186,000 views and 637 people commented on it. And that just sort of spiraled into me making content about this subject because there just wasn't that much information about it. There was a huge stigma regarding the medicine. And I just want to say that Ozempic and Wegovy are the same thing. We can clear that up. One of them is cleared for diabetes, which is Ozempic, and Wegovy is cleared for weight loss, but they are literally the same medication, semaglutide. So a lot of people saying switch to this one or switch to that one, you're literally getting the same active ingredient. So when I talk about which one I'm on, it's really interchangeable because one of the reasons why people might take one versus the other is simply for insurance coverage alone. So the CDC is now saying that 73.6% of adults are overweight. So the majority of people in our country are overweight. And I am actually one of the 41.9% who are obese. And so while I've been taking this medicine, I've lost weight, I've lost inches, and I've felt significantly better. I still have more weight to lose. Honestly, I think if my weight loss were an animal, it would probably be a snail. It's been extremely slow and it's been really difficult for me. I wanted to share with you guys that I have been diagnosed with PCOS, insulin resistance, endometriosis, chronic pain, CPTSD, ADHD, depression, and anxiety. So when I tell you that it took everything I have to lose what weight that I did lose, I want to stress that weight loss, although maybe simple in theory, if you have other factors going on in your life, if you have stress, if you have trauma, if you have chronic pain, there's a lot of reasons why someone might not lose weight without some type of medication to help them. And so, I definitely thought more in black and white thinking when I was younger, but as I've gotten older and struggled more with things like hormones, I definitely see the role that plays in weight loss. And it's been something that I've been struggling with for the past 10 years. Honestly, I've been fat pretty much my whole entire life. Like, I remember being told by another kid in like second grade that I was fat. And so that was, I guess, my first realization that like, oh, I'm not like everyone else. And so it hurts to realize that about yourself, and you go through the world a little different as a fat person. And I wanted to do the thumbnail with Cartman because it's just kind of lighthearted. Cartman's fat, they make jokes about his weight. It's just kind of been a thing on South Park for a while. I grew up watching that show, but I do think it's funny that South Park is talking about Ozempic because they literally are just highlighting problems in society. That's all South Park ever really does, is just showcase what's going on in pop culture. So I'm really excited to watch that episode. But getting back on a more serious subject, if you haven't struggled with your weight for years and years and years, you might say, oh, just go exercise and eat less. But I guarantee you that if you're like me and one of the people who's tried everything that they know to try, GLP-1 medicine could work for you. So my starting calorie counting was January 7th of 2023. That was the day that I said, okay, I'm going to start counting my calories. And that was January of last year, of course, and I weighed 172.6 pounds. I had gotten down from about 189 pounds at that point. Fast forward 500 days later, May 20th, and I am at 161 pounds. So total loss there was 11.6 pounds in 500 days. So I'm guessing that most of you will say that's not enough weight. And I understand the sentiment that yes, that's not a lot of weight, but when you live in a very small, petite body every pound seems to count for more. Mathematically, it's more of my body fat percentage, and I've noticed a huge change in the way that I look, in the way that people treat me, even in my facial structure, in my curves, and everything about that. Losing that 12 pounds has really made a significant impact. Whether or not it's worth the cost is definitely going to be up to you. I will say that I've gotten this medicine in pretty much every way that you can get it. I've gotten it prescribed and paid for by my insurance, which I think is the best case scenario. I've gotten it through a weight loss clinic locally where I pay for the shot weekly, which was very expensive. And I've gotten it as a peptide. So, I mean, that's 3 ways you can get it. And then also, I'm starting a new program with a telehealth company that is going to be shipping it to me, and so I'm feeling a little bit better about the consistency of getting the medication. The reason why I feel like some of the progress was a little slower is because there was weeks where I couldn't get the medicine. I had to stretch it to get the dose. I remember at one point calling about 50 pharmacies to try to figure out if they had it. Finally finding the medicine in Tennessee. I live in Alabama, driving an hour to that pharmacy to get the medicine. And that was only a month's worth of medicine. So you'd basically have to wash and repeat after that and do it all over again. So in terms of being able to access this medicine, it's been extremely difficult. In order to access care for it, it's been difficult. I finally found someone like a doctor in person that I feel like I was able to work with, and she was the one who helped me get the prescription to obtain the medicine from Canada. That was also very expensive. I think that was like $300-ish. So now I'm hoping to be paying around $250 to $300 a month for this drug, and I'm hoping that with being able to take it more consistently, I will continue to see weight loss. I do think that there's a strong mental health element when it comes to weight loss, and I've struggled a lot with my mental health. I've been diagnosed with ADHD in the last month, which actually answers a lot of questions as to why I can't focus. I feel tired all the time, and I'm trying to run 3 to 5 different businesses at any given time. But you know, your health is definitely connected to your brain, your mind, your body, your soul. Everything together is what makes up you. So it makes sense that if things aren't going well up here, that it wouldn't be going well physically as well. So I think, you know, getting my mental health under control is really going to help. I'm seeing a new physician who is helping me get treated for the ADHD. I'm still in therapy, and I'm doing everything that I can do personally to work with myself to get better. But when I have depressive episodes and I can't get out of bed for a week, it's really hard to say, go to the gym and work out and walk and things like that when I feel like complete crap. And if you don't understand that feeling, it's really unexplainable. I can't explain it to you, because if you haven't felt it, you just won't understand it. I don't follow a specific diet. The only thing that I've done with my calorie counting is I use a food scale to measure out all of my food, and I make sure that I'm eating protein consistently, and I make sure that I stick to around 1,500 to 2,000 calories a day. The reason I say 2,000 is because some days I'll eat 1,500, some days I'll eat 2,000, and it kind of evens out to around 1,700 to 1,800. I'm extremely active, I think. I mean, I'm always on the go. My job requires a lot of movement. I'm gardening, I'm picking up my yard. I'm always doing some type of activity. It's actually very rare for me to sit down. This is one of those rare moments where I'm sitting down, but you know, I think that if it were an issue of she's not trying hard enough, I could understand. But if y'all knew how much I tried, I should look like a freaking supermodel. I have tried everything, every configuration, every supplement, you know, and it's not for lack of trying. So when I'm able to introduce the GLP-1s into my life and able to kind of let weight loss come naturally, it's so much easier. I don't know how to explain. If you feel constantly hungry, if you feel like you don't ever get enough to eat, if you feel like when your blood sugar drops you get shaky, those are all signs that GLP-1 medicine might actually be good for you. One thing I did want to note is that if you start taking this medicine, I think this is one of the big critiques from society is like, oh, you're going to gain the weight back. Well, yeah, if you have a heart condition and you stop taking your heart medication, then your heart is not going to be in good shape. So, I mean, in order to continue to be on the path that you're on with this medicine, you're going to have to stay on the medicine. So I think that one thing that I really want to highlight is this is more of a long-term thing. I think that even people who are kind of getting off of it are choosing to stay on like a maintenance dose because it just makes things a little bit easier. In terms of food noise, that's something that I've struggled with for my entire life, and that is gone with the Ozempic or the semaglutides. I think my next goal weight is to get into the 150s. I'm really close to that now. One of the problems that I've had is just being able to work out because of chronic pain, but I have been walking, and I walk at least 7,000 steps per day, and that's something that I really want to continue doing. I have to push myself to do it because I don't always get the steps naturally, but what I've done is try to park further away in parking lots. I've tried to, tidy up around my house. Say I need 2,000 more steps, well then I'll do something like sweep or mop around the house just to get those extra steps in. So the apps that I used during these 500 days were primarily the Lose It app. That's just a way to track calories, and it gives you a lot of data in terms of, what your carbs, your protein, your fat, your sugar. I use the premium version. I think it's like $10 or $15 a year. Well worth it for me. And the other app that I use is called Happy Scale. That is a free app. I think they have a paid version, but I use the free version. Happy Scale gives you a moving average of your weight, so it doesn't necessarily give the exact weight. You can look at your exact weight, but it's more of a prediction of what direction you're going in. And I like that because, when you have a period or something like that, you'll have significant weight fluctuations. And so sometimes it's easy to be like, oh my God, I'm gaining weight. But the body naturally gains and loses weight, throughout the weeks and months. So as long as you're trending downward, that's what you want to see. One thing that I believe is that access to healthcare should not be this hard. I have really felt like that's my number one roadblock. I know that, a lot of people don't even have insurance to fight with. I've actually been able to fight with my insurance company, not that it's really done any good, but being able to get this medicine is very challenging. Even if you are financially stable, it's not something that's cost effective in terms of, it's $1,200 or $900. I don't know anyone who has an extra $1,000 a month for medicine. I just don't. I mean, that may be the world that I'm living in rural Alabama, but in terms of being able to access care, I think that the telehealth companies have nailed it because they've been able to utilize these compounding pharmacies to get the cost down and to get the accessibility available for people who live in different areas. So living where I live, it's not easy for me to come across a compounding pharmacy that is, even remotely affordable. I actually made a phone call yesterday, and I was calling because I found out from my OBGYN that they have a program now that is compounding, and she was saying she could write me a script for it. And I was calling them and saying like, oh, how much is like 5 milligrams of semaglutide? And they were saying it was $300. And I was like, well, I'm taking like 1.7 per week. So, I mean, that's just not cost effective. So the program that I'm starting now, I'm going to be trying it out before I tell you guys about it because I just want to make sure that I do my due diligence. I'll probably make a video about that coming up in the next couple of weeks. But what I want to say is that if you are on the fence about trying it, you can do your research, but definitely think about it in terms of like longevity, like how long do you want to be on something like this? How long can you afford something like this? And have you tried, other things? And have you had lab work? Have you had your thyroid checked and things like that? In my case, I've had all of my levels checked and everything was normal, but it didn't feel normal. And it certainly hasn't been easy to lose the weight, even with the semaglutide. It just feels like I'm more able to get through a day of 1,500 or 1,600 calories without feeling constantly hungry. And that was my main issue. I was always hungry. I was always snacking, needing like, something every 2 or 3 hours almost. And obviously, it's kind of hard to cut calories when you're eating that much. I really can't make any apologies for using this medicine. I know that I'll get a lot of critique for using a medicine that's for diabetics, but the whole entire point of me being on it is so that I don't develop diabetes like both of my grandmothers have. So, I mean, I just don't understand the logic of saying you're taking medicine away from someone doesn't make a lot of sense to me. I feel like the anger is misdirected at me when the anger really should be towards, you know, like pharmacies and drug companies and production systems within the United States healthcare system. But the overarching issue seems to be that this drug is not really accessible or affordable. And so I think that when you get a company that will be able to combat that, you'll really see success. I'm hoping to become a part of something like that. I'm also hoping that, you know, with this new era of my weight loss, so now that I've done these 500 days and now that I'm able to get the medicine more consistently, I think that I'm gonna see a little bit more weight loss faster. In the 500 days, losing 11.6 pounds, what is that? That's 0.64 pounds a month, so about half a pound a month. I do think that I gained the weight at about that rate, because gaining weight is not something that happens like overnight. Typically what happens is you just eat a little bit too much calories every day for a year or 2 years or 5 years, and before you know it, you've put on 40 pounds. So I think that even though, yes, it is an incredibly slow, sluggish weight loss journey, I'm still wanting to be on it. I'm still committed to it. I feel like this works for my lifestyle. I don't have to obsess over it. I don't have to, you know, put a lot of thought into it. I'm happy with the way that my body is looking. My body has changed significantly. I've gotten a lot more confident. I've been able to sort of wear different clothes, feel different. And I think altogether, being on this medicine for 500 days and counting calories for 500 days has made a significant impact in my life, my morale, and everything that, you know, makes me me. So I would highly recommend that you talk to a doctor about it. I think that if you're one of those people who just can't lose the weight and you think you've tried everything, I think this is the medicine for you. Obviously, this is not a medical advice video. Do what you want with your doctor. I'm not giving any medical advice. I'm just telling you my experience. So I hope that you guys enjoyed my update. I hope that I can continue making you proud and continuing to lose the weight, but I just want to say that, like, your weight is not you. You are still you. You're still good, no matter how much you weigh or what you're doing. You are still worthy, and I just want you guys to have the best of luck with whatever you pursue. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will catch you in the next video. Take care.